The latest spoilers for the bold and the beautiful promise to deliver one of the most shocking and devastating storylines the soap has seen in years. Fans who are waiting for Thomas Forrester's long-rumored return will instead be met with tragedy as Ridge Forrester receives the heartbreaking news that his son has died in a sudden plane crash before he could even make it back to Los Angeles. This twist will not only shake Ridge to his core, but will also ripple across the entire Forrester family, Logan family, and the greater Los Angeles community, leaving nothing untouched. The storyline begins with Ridge eagerly preparing for Thomas's return. For weeks, whispers had built that Thomas was finally coming home after time abroad, perhaps reformed, perhaps ready to step back into the fold of Forrester Creations and reclaim his role in the family legacy. Ridge had been clinging to the hope that his son was ready for redemption, that father and son could mend their fractured relationship and finally rebuild what had been broken by years of obsession, scandal, and exile. But that hope is crushed in an instant when Ridge receives the phone call no parent ever wants to hear. Thomas's plane has gone down. He never made it back to Los Angeles. He is gone. The weight of this revelation devastates Ridge. Shock gives way to disbelief, disbelief gives way to anguish, and anguish finally collapses into grief. He flies immediately to the site, forced into the unbearable task of identifying his son's remains. As he looks upon Thomas's lifeless body, the memories flood back. Thomas as a boy sketching designs beside his father's desk, Thomas's ambition, his talent, his countless mistakes, and the fragile moments of forgiveness that kept their bond alive despite everything. All of it crashes down on Ridge as he faces the finality of death. There will be no more second chances. No more opportunities to heal. No more time. When Ridge returns to Los Angeles, he brings with him not just grief, but the unbearable responsibility of telling his family. The Forrester estate, usually a place of glamour and tension, becomes a house of mourning. Eric collapses under the weight of losing his grandson. Steffi is inconsolable, devastated that her brother is gone, grappling with the fact that she will never again be able to confide in him, fight with him, or share the complicated love only siblings can understand. Hope Logan, who has shared one of the most tumultuous and passionate chapters of her life with Thomas, is thrown into turmoil. Their story was far from over, their bond far from broken, and the thought that she will never again hear his voice or see his face leaves her reeling. The funeral becomes one of the most dramatic events in recent memory. Los Angeles gathers. Every family member, every rival, every ally standing shoulder to shoulder in grief and shock. The chapel is filled with black-clad mourners, the Forrester Creations team present in full, reporters lining the streets outside to capture every detail. Ridge stands at the front, broken yet resolute, delivering a eulogy that shakes everyone to their core. He speaks not only of Thomas's talent, but of his flaws, his mistakes, and his struggles. He acknowledges the pain his son caused, but he also insists on remembering the boy who dreamed of greatness, the man who tried to do better, the father who loved his son Douglas. His words cut through the silence, leaving everyone in tears. Hope rises to speak next, her voice trembling as she admits that despite everything, Thomas had been a profound part of her life. She recalls his devotion to Douglas, his endless determination to prove himself to her, and the quiet moments when he showed her the best of himself, not the worst. Her words make it clear that Thomas's death is not just a Forrester loss, but hers too. Douglas, too young to fully understand, clings to hope, asking questions no one knows how to answer. His father is gone, and nothing will ever be the same. Even Brooke, often one of Thomas's harshest critics, is shaken by the loss. She offers comfort to Ridge, setting aside their history of conflict with Thomas to stand by him in his grief. Taylor Hayes, Thomas's mother, is devastated beyond words. Her grief is primal, consuming, the kind of grief that breaks a woman into pieces. Her screams echo in the chapel as she demands to know why her son had to be taken, why fate is so cruel, why her family is cursed to endure tragedy after tragedy. The funeral shocks the town, not only because of the loss itself, but because of the timing. Thomas was supposed to return, supposed to rejoin the story, supposed to bring with him new drama, redemption, and conflict. Instead, his sudden death halts all of it, leaving the characters and the viewers alike reeling. The abruptness of it raises questions. Was it truly an accident? Could someone have sabotaged the plane? The investigation into the crash begins, with whispers of foul play rippling through the crowd. Some suspect enemies Thomas made abroad, others suspect lingering grudges in Los Angeles, and a few even point fingers at familiar villains like Sheila Carter. The lack of answers only deepens the unease. For Ridge, however, the question of why does not change the brutal fact of what. His son is gone. His legacy is fractured. His family is broken. As he watches his loved ones crumble around him, Ridge vows to find out the truth, but deep down he knows no truth will bring Thomas back. The aftermath of Thomas's death leaves the Forrester family destabilized. Steffi tries to step up, but her own grief makes her brittle and volatile. Hope withdraws, caught between mourning and guilt, torn apart by what could have been. Douglas becomes the focal point, every adult around him fighting to shield him from the devastation, but no one can erase the absence of his father. Taylor's grief pushes her closer to the edge, and Brooke finds herself trying to support Ridge even as their history complicates every embrace, every word of comfort. In the coming weeks, this tragedy will send aftershocks through Los Angeles. Ridge will spiral into guilt, wondering if he could have saved Thomas, if he should have done more, if his last words to his son were enough. Taylor may direct her grief outward, blaming Brooke, blaming the Forresters, blaming anyone she can for the loss. Steffi may become more ruthless, determined to protect what remains of her family. Hope will question her choices, her future, and whether she has the strength to carry on without Thomas. The town itself will not escape unscathed. The Forrester Creations empire depends on unity and vision, but the death of Thomas leaves a hole in both. Clients may pull away, employees may lose faith, and rivals may seize the opportunity to strike. Eric, already frail, may crumble further under the strain. And through it all, Ridge will stand at the center, trying to hold together a family that feels like it is falling apart. The funeral marks not just the end of Thomas Forrester's life, but the beginning of a new, darker chapter for the bold and the beautiful. It is a reminder that in this world, nothing is safe, no one is guaranteed tomorrow, and even the most anticipated returns can be snatched away in an instant. Ridge's heartbreak will define the weeks to come, and Los Angeles will never be the same again. The morning after Will Spencer's promotion party will be nothing short of catastrophic for him, though he won't realize the full scope of what happened until much later. The night had spiraled into a blur of music, alcohol, and distraction, culminating in his private encounter with a mysterious masked woman, an encounter he can't fully remember. That woman, of course, was Luna Nozawa, who had slipped into Il Giardino, disguised as a server and manipulated events to her advantage. Now, as Will opens his eyes the next day, he's met with pounding headaches, a fractured memory, and questions that refuse to leave his mind. His attempts to piece together the fragments of the night will be a central focus in the coming days, and the consequences of what happened will ripple far beyond him. Will struggles as the hangover fog clouds his brain, trying to recall how he ended up alone, how he lost Electra Forrester's attention, and most importantly, who the woman was that spent the night with him. He can picture flashes, her perfume, the dim lighting, the wig, and the mask. He remembers her voice only faintly, distorted and teasing, and the sensation of someone he shouldn't have been with. It is enough to terrify him. Will wonders if he betrayed Electra, and if he did, how much she knows. Electra herself, sharp and observant, quickly senses that Will isn't himself. She picks up on the evasive way he answers her questions, the unease in his voice, and the distance in his gaze. Though Will tries to bury the truth and convince her that nothing happened, Electra is not easily fooled. Suspicion begins to stir in her, setting up a confrontation that could devastate their relationship. Meanwhile, Luna keeps her silence, but struggles with the weight of what she's done. She knows she crossed a line by taking advantage of Will in his intoxicated state, and yet she feels emboldened, triumphant even, that she finally achieved her goal. To Lee Finnegan and Sheila Carter-Sharp, she hides the details, pretending she has been quiet and laying low. But Luna's confidence threatens to undo her, because Sheila in particular is too cunning not to notice when someone is holding back. It's only a matter of time before Luna brags about her conquest, and when she does, Sheila will either exploit it or turn it against her, depending on what best serves Sheila's own twisted ambitions. There is also the looming possibility of pregnancy. Luna has no way of knowing yet, but fans understand the writers are hinting heavily at the possibility that her reckless night with Will have lasting consequences. If Luna becomes pregnant, her secret cannot stay buried. Everyone, Will, Electra, Lee, Sheila, and the Forresters, will be pulled into a storm of scandal. The fallout could obliterate multiple relationships and even entangle the Spencer empire in another cycle of shame. While Luna's schemes dominate one side of Los Angeles, another storm brews with Hope Logan and Carter Walton. Carter, who had once placed a ring on Hope's finger in a moment of passion and desperation, now seeks to solidify their future once again. Whether it is a business proposal tied to Forrester Creations or a more personal plea to set a firm wedding date, Carter is determined to make Hope his wife and prove that he is steady, reliable, and worthy of her love. But Carter's plans meet resistance, not from Hope at first, but from Ridge Forrester. Ridge has never been shy about voicing his opinions when it comes to Hope and the men in her life. As Carter presents his proposal, Ridge interrupts, challenging the foundation of Carter's intentions. Ridge questions whether Carter is truly ready to devote himself fully to Hope, whether his past failures in love mean he will falter again, and whether Hope deserves something more than Carter can give. Ridge's skepticism cuts deep, but Carter stands firm, insisting that he is ready to be the devoted husband Hope deserves. He makes it clear that his love for Hope is real and that he will not be pushed aside without a fight. Yet Ridge's interference isn't the only threat to Carter and Hope's engagement. Liam Spencer, forever the complicated center of Hope's heart, is once again hovering on the edges of her life. After surviving his recent health scare, Liam now finds himself looking at his future with new clarity. He no longer faces death, no longer feels the ticking clock of mortality pushing him into rash decisions. Instead, he has time, and with that time comes reflection. What does he truly want? Is it to chase new dreams, or is it to rebuild the family he once had with Hope? Bill Spencer plays a key role here, urging Liam to think clearly about his choices. Bill pushes his son to decide what kind of man he wants to be, whether he will fight for the woman he loves or let her slip away again. Liam, torn between respecting Hope's choices and chasing his own happiness, begins to weigh the possibility of fighting for her once more. The prospect of rekindling his romance with Hope, of reclaiming the life they once dreamed of with their family, tempts him in ways he cannot ignore. As Hope stands between Carter's devotion and Liam's renewed interest, she faces a familiar crossroads. Carter offers stability, commitment, and a future free from the chaos of the past. Liam offers history, family ties, and the kind of passion that refuses to fade no matter how many times they've broken apart. Hope must decide whether to step into a new chapter with Carter or give Liam yet another chance to make things right. All the while, Will's nightmare deepens. Each day, more fragments of memory surface, and each one only fuels his dread. Electra's questions grow sharper, her patience thinner. Luna's confidence swells, pushing her closer to revealing the truth to Sheila. Lee senses that Luna is hiding something and begins to worry that her niece will undo everything she has tried to repair. And Sheila, always hungry for leverage, waits for the right moment to strike, ready to weaponize Luna's secret for her own gain. The stakes rise higher with each episode. If Luna is pregnant, the revelation will detonate across Los Angeles, shattering the Spencers, the Forresters, and the Finnegans alike. If Elektra uncovers the truth before Will can confess, her wrath will burn through every relationship around her. If Ridge succeeds in derailing Carter's proposal, Hope's heart will be thrown back into the storm between Carter and Liam. And if Liam decides to fight for Hope, Carter's dreams may collapse before they ever truly begin. In the weeks ahead, fans can expect explosive confrontations, betrayals exposed, and choices that will reshape the families forever. Will wakes up not only with a hangover, but with the potential to lose everything he has built. Hope faces the decision of her life. Carter must prove his worth. Liam must decide if he is truly ready to step back into Hope's world. And Luna, reckless and triumphant, may soon find that her greatest victory comes with a price she can never pay. This is The Bold and the Beautiful at its most intense: love, betrayal, secrets, and the ever-present threat that one night's mistake can change everything for everyone.
Oh.